you say anything. Yes, I'm wearing a cheetah print. I don't know what they call these, but it's like a blanket hoodie. It's very cold this evening, and our heater is very loud. So I didn't want to have it running during the video. Some member shoutouts. Noble Bulls. James Isn't Real. Jaeger Bomb Legend. Tristan Hoffman. Isaiah Robeson. Blunt Too Heavy. Andreas Anderson. And Josh Cameron. Thank you to all of you for being supporters of this channel with your membership. Today I want to talk about my favorite team logo from not all, but a lot of the major sports leagues. A lot of different soccer leagues. All of the North American major sports leagues. Right? So just those. But first I got new glasses today. I'm still adjusting to them. My prescription changed a ton since the last time I got glasses, and it's a little bit disorienting. And they said like I've developed an astigmatism. Like I didn't have that when I got my first pair of glasses a long time ago. So like it feels like it's kind of like zoomed in a little bit. Like things are way clearer than they've been in years, but it's still an adjustment. But I also got, this is something I've always wanted. Because I love sunglasses, but I've never been able to wear them because of my vision. And like, I need glasses to drive, but I need sunglasses to drive, so I finally got a pair of prescription sunglasses for the first time in my life. So I have sunglasses that's blocking, everything out, but their prescription I can still see. So that has been really great. Getting those. I haven't gotten the chance to use them yet because it's winter right now in Australia, but I'm excited to get the chance to use those. Okay, let's go look at my favorite logo from all of these different sports leagues now. Just a couple things. These are only current logos, so I'm not counting retro logos, secondary logos, alternate logos. It is only the current primary logos of teams in these leagues. And this has nothing to do with my opinion on the team itself. I think in only 2 instances I selected the logo of my favorite team in that league. So, it's not a favoritism contest. It's not me saying other logos are bad. It's just what is my favorite in my personal opinion with my personal standards I like in design. And let's start with, we're going to go alphabetically by league. It'll just be easier that way, I think. We're going to start with the Bundesliga and FC Köln. And this is their full logo with the goat on top of the represents the cathedral. Very famous cathedral in Cologne, Germany. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks very similar, and I would be shocked if that's not what it was. The goat on top, I don't know what that represents. Like, I didn't look into the history of these logos or what they represent or anything, because I didn't want that to factor into my decision-making process. Like, oh, this logo represents some, like, terrible tragedy that this city survived. Like, well, now I feel bad for not picking it, right? So I didn't want to know the meaning, but the goat, I love the goat, even though I don't really know what it stands for. If the Bundesliga was like an American league and had mascots and things, I can imagine, like they would have a goat come run around on the field or something at halftime. But I've just always loved this logo, watching the Bundesliga for like over a decade now, fairly consistently. Every time I get to see a Cologne match, I get to see that logo crest. I'm always pretty happy about that one. Next up, we have the championship, and this is all going off of current this year tables. So if a team is getting promoted or relegated or whatever, that's not factoring into my decision-making process. But in the championship, my favorite logo belongs to Hull City for a number of reasons. The Hull City Tigers, my high school mascot was a tiger, and tigers are my favorite animal. I have a tiger tattoo, so I've always just had an affinity for tigers in general. But, I also love that whoever designed this logo has, like, clearly never really seen a tiger before, because the stripe pattern is, like, so unnatural and weird looking. I don't know if that was a purposeful design choice, but it does not look like a realistic tiger at all. And it has this quality that a lot of these older animal logos have, where the animal kind of looks like scared or sad a little bit. Go look at the University of Connecticut Huskies logo from some time ago, and you'll see the exact same thing. And it's just a really funny quality that a lot of these older logos featuring animals has. I don't know what it is, but I always find it very charming, and that's why I choose here, Hull City. The next league we're looking at is the Premier League, and for that I have to pick Crystal Palace. I love the big, bold eagle on top of the ground. I think that's the football ground it's over top of. You have the ball there in the center in red, the eagle in blue, and then the blue and red parchment scroll things as Crystal Palace FC. I've always just really enjoyed this. I think it's a very regal, very, I don't want to say aggressive, but it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's very intricate, and I like that it's not just a circle badge. That's probably what you're going to notice with a lot of these. It's not just a circle badge with some whatever in a circle. I tend to really dislike those. And of the current Premier League lineup, this is the furthest away from a circle badge that I could find. But even just beyond that, I've always liked Crystal Palace and their crest in general. Okay, now we come to the Eredivisie. The Eredivisie, what's funny is I'm about to literally break the rule that I just mentioned to you guys. But looking to Eredivisie, honestly, the one that always stands out to me is Ajax. Of course, you have the mythical figure Ajax there in the center with his helmet and his beard and all of that. And over the years, he has been varying levels of detailed in that crest. Personally, I like the level of detail in some of the older badges better than the current one, but in my opinion, it's just always a very striking logo. It's not often in sports that you see an anatomically correct human depicted on the badge, especially in North America, but even throughout European sports, it's not that common, and it's just always struck me. So that's why, for me, my favorite badge in Eredivisie is Ajax. The next on the list, we go to the J League. Not a huge major league, but I want to include the J League as well as NBB, because those are leagues that I personally watch. And for me, I was torn between two, but I settled on Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo. I was torn between this or the Tokyo Verde logo, but ultimately, in my opinion, the owl, with the red eyes, the blue and the red, the stars, the whole shape of the thing, how the sort of shield shaped, I suppose you would call that, badge fits with the owl theme. In my opinion, just a very striking logo, and it really stands out compared to the rest of the league. Now, this is a league with some really good kits and crests in general. I also thought Sekundosu could have gotten the nod here, but ultimately for me, I go with Hokkaido Consadole Sapporo. Now we come to La Liga. La Liga, this one was hard for me. There's a couple that I liked, but ultimately, one I just kept coming back to, when I keep going back to, when I look at La Liga, is Valencia. And I'm not a huge fan usually of Valencia's kits or color scheme in general, which is why I kind of gave myself a little bit of pause here. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of the red and yellow color combination on his sports team. But something about Valencia, it's a little bit basic, but you have the bat over the top, kind of all-encompassing around the whole thing. And to me, that kind of just elevates it. I was looking at Real Madrid, and I was like it is very elegant and nice looking, but at the end of the day, looking across La Liga, the one that stands out to me as having kind of the most character is Valencia. Now we come to Liga MX, and this is an easy choice for me, and I'm realizing now I've done it yet again. Tigres. I picked the whole Tigers, and now I've picked Tigres in Liga MX. I love the way that the tiger head, first of all, was accurate looking, but I love that it kind of disappears into the U. It's kind of like the tiger stalking through the tall grass or something like that. It has a very predatory look to it, and I really like that in the logo, and I especially love that their name is Tigres, but they aren't using orange and black, which I just think is a really unique choice. It would have been so easy, but they go blue and yellow. They make the tiger blue, yellow, and white, but it still works, even though it's a tiger and it's not orange and black. Extremely, extremely interesting design choice, but I love it. Absolutely love it, and easily looking across the Liga MX landscape, Tigres is my favorite logo in that league. Now I come to Ligon. There is a couple for me to choose from, but this is one that I've loved for a really long time. And I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this club's name, so I'm not even going to attempt it, but the logo is on the screen now. I love it's kind of acting as that dividing line. I've always loved this crest, like I've said for years and years. Every time I see it, the unique is that a pentagram, I suppose, 5-sided, badge, which is an interesting design choice. The dog, the color scheme, the sort of angular, trapezoidal design elements. As you have smaller trapezoids within the big trapezoid. It's just very angular and interesting. And in my opinion, stands well above the back. Okay, now we finally get our first American team. So some of you guys were wondering, yes, I will be covering American sports as well. And we come to Major League Baseball. Now, for Major League Baseball, I'm picking the Baltimore Orioles, but I have an embarrassing thing to admit, and it is that for the longest time, and I don't even have to say when I was a child, because this was honestly up until a few years ago, I thought that this Oriole logo in particular, I thought it was like an orangutan or something. And anybody that I say that to, none of them have been able to see that. I need you guys to be honest with me. If you just give this a first glance and you don't really know, you can see how I thought that was an orangutan, right? The great ape, of course. But no, I've always loved again, we're going black and orange, again, like with Whole City. But the Oriole logo, the smiling bird, yes, I know now that it's a bird, wearing the hat. I was torn between this and the Blue Jays and the Cardinals. So I guess maybe for me, bird logos in the MLB are just a thing that I enjoy. But this edges out those other two that I mentioned in my opinion, and my favorite MLB logo is the Baltimore Orioles logo. Major League Soccer, we come to the MLS, and we come to a newer club, and that is Minnesota United FC with their badge. You have the lark, I believe that's a lark. I love that it has the red eye, because you have the blue, the black, and that gray color, very kind of neutral tones. You have the star up there, the North Star, right, because it's Minnesota. But they put the red eye on it, in my opinion, that is just that extra little je ne sais quoi that elevates this to the next level. It's between this and Miami, but ultimately, in my opinion, Minnesota United takes the cake there. I love the sort of aggressive, angular designs on the wings. They almost look like knives or something like that. The irregular shape to the badge background behind the lark. I think it's just a fantastic design, and it is my favorite in Major League Soccer. And now we come to one of two instances where my favorite logo is my favorite team in that league. We come to the NBA. My favorite logo in the NBA is the Portland Trail Blazers logo. I think the Portland Trail Blazers logo is one of the most interesting and abstract logos in sports. If you don't know, the 5 stripes or swooshes represent the 5-on-5 nature of the sport of basketball. 5 players on offense, 5 players on defense, and their movement around the court. That is what it is designed to look like. I have just absolutely always loved the logo. Obviously, growing up a Blazers fan impacts that a little bit, but I grew up a fan of other teams as well and didn't pick them, so I genuinely do think the Trailblazers have the best logo in the NBA, and it is my favorite. The NFL. Now, this is my favorite East Coast team in the NFL, but the Miami Dolphins I like their older logo when the Dolphin was wearing the helmet a little bit better, but I do still really like their modern design as well. The Dolphins have the coolest, most unique colors in the NFL, in my opinion. That teal blue and the orange perfectly captures the spirit, the vibe of Miami, right? I love the dolphin logo. The very, kind of looks like the dolphins in motion a little bit, like it's going through the waves. And using the white to represent the sun, I think is an interesting choice. But yes, in the NFL, my favorite NFL logo, Miami Dolphins, is between this and the Raiders at the end, but ultimately because the colors, I gave the edge to the Dolphins, but no, based on the colors, for some people that could go to the Raiders instead. And now we come to the National Hockey League. I have said many times, I think that the Minnesota Wild have perhaps the best logo in all sports, across any sport in the entire world. The Minnesota Wild. I think this is the only instance where I selected logos from the same city. Two Minnesota teams in there. I don't think I did that with any other city. But I absolutely love this logo, the layers to it. Because if you look at it on a, if you zoom out on a macro scale, it looks like a bear, right? You can see the bear shape overall. But you come in a bit and you see the river, you see the trees, you see the setting sun, you see the shooting star. And it's a wilderness scene that represents the wilds of Minnesota, and it's such an abstract and artistic, like a lot of care and artistry went into making this logo. That's why, like I say, I frequently say I think it's the best logo of any sports logo in the world. Maybe not the most iconic or whatever, but like the best. So for me, this is an easy pick for my favorite NHL logo. Now we come to the second instance where I am choosing my favorite team as my favorite logo. And this is in the Nippon Professional Baseball, Japanese Baseball League. I think that my favorite logo in that league is the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. For me, it was between this and the Chiba Latte Marines, but ultimately, I just absolutely love this logo. You have Tsubandaro there, the mascot holding the bat, getting ready. He's getting ready to swing. He's up in an at-bat. And just, I just absolutely love it. You have the green there. It's a very cool, unique. I love this logo. I also think the Tokyo Yakult Swallows have one of the best hat logos. Baseball hats just have the little letter mark or whatever, but they have the YS, which I also think that's one of the best of any baseball team. I wear my Yakult Swallows hat quite a bit. But yeah, an MBB, the Yakult, the Tokyo Yakult Swallows. And now for our final league I'm going to be looking at, my final favorite league, we come to Serie A. And we pick Roma. I picked a different Roma logo when I did my favorite vintage or retro logos, but this is modern logos, right? But I still love this. I don't love it as much as some of their older ones. But you have the dog, you have the babies, feeding from her. And apparently, this represents the founding myth of the city of Rome, which I didn't know that, but I do love that detail as well. Again, a color scheme I tend to not like. You have the red and the yellow together. I don't like that, but here with the badge, the design of it, the artistry of it, it is my favorite in Serie A. So, that is that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of these selections that I made for these leagues. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And this isn't how much I like the team. Take your rooting interest out of it. I don't like most of these clubs, most of these teams. But if you had to pick a favorite just based on the logo alone for some of these leagues, what would you choose? If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Until next time, guys.